So I've been doing a lot of thinking. This is going to sound probably pretty random, but I have been at a kind of a fork in the road, as it were, with some decisions that needing to be made. To make it make sense. Basically, at this point where it's like, do I invest a lot of energy into trying to better my circumstances, meaning basically make more money. I need to find a way to quickly begin making more money, and in order to find, basically, like, in short, find a place that I can keep the rent and utilities up. And because the place where I'm staying now, its terminus is coming up, is approaching, and so to find, to begin paying rent, or do I do what has been just gnawing at my mind for nearly a decade, and in which intensity has not decreased, but go into this other posture of really reducing. I've been doing that in a lot of ways over the past decade, minimizing, in short, subsisting on less, needing less money, and it was multifaceted reasons or catalysts or multifaceted things that I saw that, regarding the future, I guess, to put it that way, that just signaled to me that I needed to think in this way, and it was so unavoidable. It was unavoidable for a long time. I've talked to people about it, like meaning like serious conversations where I've sought counsel, as it were, or just sought someone to listen to, kind of about this thing, and it was several years ago. And of course, that they're like, oh, that's not going to happen, and thoughts of and words about encouragement to the ends of avoiding that not being the case, and stuff. But anyways, and the whole whirlwind of thought, and more than thought, but like a whole whirlwind of context surrounded that thinking also. So, anyways, there's so much to say about it that I'm trying to, like, not branch into, like, a whole lot of other, there's a lot of different directions that this can go, what I'm trying to say here, but to stay on track, really trying to make it concise. But so the fork in the road between this, you need to make your motivation be about getting the most money, making the most money that you can, with at your skill level and where you are today, making the most money that you can, and finding out how it is to do it, no matter what kind of work it is, basically, and do that to get this some establishment, to get some start to get some consistency in your living situation, and really kind of just make one last kind kind of make another attempt to make some stability. So that's been just a pressure and stuff in my mind. Or the other fork was this decrease. Actually, consider decreasing, and and the reasons were filled in. The reasons were filled in kind of as that decade of time kind of transpired. The reasons for it and the paradigm shifts and the affirmations, I guess, that just really just point to this idea of minimizing and decreasing. My reasons have over this time have been mixed between kind of religious ideology that makes it make sense that that's the way. Anyways, that's another. Don't want to, I'm trying to stay on track here. And then another thing was just always being a person whose thinking and thought processes seems to be counter to what was around, to kind of to what was around me, and so that and then what one can imagine, just the implications of that being the case and stuff. So anyways, so here I am today, and I'm thinking about I have been thinking about these those two avenues. There are things that have come to mind that involve making money, and I know, and it sounds real pipe dreamy, because I tell you what, I know that human beings, we're notorious, and we're really bad at having these ideas that never come to fruition and stuff, because we don't, they're just nothing. They're just imaginations that aren't really anything. But I also know that there are imaginations that can be something. So I do have things in mind. No, the ideas don't necessarily include finding work, another job, or even a career that would that I'm going to be looking at being in for some long haul to do this establishment. Everyone knows what I think you guys know what I'm talking about. The establishment, getting a place, just keeping it consistently, maybe getting a car, doing the things that the people who care about me and stuff and around my life have desired for me, and they've wondered why I haven't been motivated to pursue those things myself, and stuff. And so today, after thinking about it, for a long time, I'm considering going and speaking to my roommate, and asking, really finalizing, getting an understanding of when he would like to be moving on to a different situation, a different look, which would involve me moving out, and what I will do. I have a job that I've had for a long time, and I've happened to have to be either subscribed to or listen to, or listen to the content of people who have been in a similar situation that I am, that I'm looking forward to, and and they've shared tips and pointers, and I've learned some things about about just things to consider about living a life like that, making that kind of choice. So some of the things that have been hindrances to that thought process has been definitely concerns about the way that would look. Not only, or really, primarily the hardness, the apparent hardness of a lifestyle like that, It looks increasingly, it just looks really difficult to live a lifestyle where you're exposed to the elements, and you're, exposed to, depending on what city you live in, you're exposed to the criminal element of people around, and there's a lot of cities, they don't make it easy to be able to have the kind of stability, or even in the homeless, living on the streets context, to be able just to kind of have a place that you can actually, anyways, it's just very difficult. It's a very difficult thing. I wonder how, over the years, how I've met people who live that way, who smile, and who are kind when I see them, when they see me. It just blows me away. I don't know how. It's because to me, the consistency of the hardness of that kind of life, I don't see how it's not overwhelming, and would just drive one into the oblivion of I don't know, of just different oblivion of different kinds. So I've wondered at that, and so I know that it's possible. I know that it's possible to live in that kind of situation and not disintegrate. And so the question is, do I have that? Do I have that in me? Whatever it is that causes that. So, I knew that there was some soul searching to do, some counting the cost. It did not. Yeah, that's not something that I do not believe that I am guilty of kind of a glamorization in my thoughts about a lifestyle like that. I have seen kind of more glamorous looks at lifestyles like that, but I do know that's anyways. I know it too. I know better. Especially where I am, not having much money. If I was one that had a lot of money to really kind of create a good look, a better look than what it would be for me immediately, then I definitely would. I think it would be wise to do that. But for me, I'm very limited on financial resources, so I'll actually be able to only kind of do the bare necessities. I want nothing really extravagant. But anyways, there's all kinds of things considering, like as far as place to shower, especially if one's going to continue working. All these things, all this stuff I've gotten from ideas and stuff I've gotten from people who have been out in the situation already, and it's been and I've learned a lot from their input. And so anyways, I'm at that very place where those are very real considerations for myself. And so when I leave here and go to the house and talk to my roommate about this, and kind of see what he says, I'll have more of a clear picture of what I'm going to do, and I just know that the next hopefully I'll have a period of time, I think I will, enough to perhaps let 2 or 3 bi-weekly paychecks elapse. Of course, I am paying him rent, and so I'll need to try to make those paychecks enough to where I can, have money to make these moves in this in whatever time it would be. So, and another thing besides just the hardness of it is really how I would communicate. So I have, how I communicate this, how I would, I guess, maybe I was trying to protect myself from how I think that the people who I care about, whose opinions count, are going to see me. It just so happens, that they see me in kind of a strange light presently, and so they don't quite know what to make of my decisions, and because of the lack of conversations with people about it, I think a lot of people feel in the dark as far as what I'm kind of what I'm doing, and they probably think that I'm maybe, I don't know, addicted to something, or I don't know, having mental health issues, something like that. But and I don't fault them, just because, like I said, I haven't filled the silence, or I haven't filled in the questions with anything from myself. I haven't said anything. I haven't used my mouth, and I haven't had conversations and really, kept the people I love in kind of in the loop of what's going on in my life. A lot of time has passed of silence, and so I don't blame them for that. But the reality of the fact is that that's just the way it is. The situation is the way it is. So when they do discover that I'm not living in this house, and they might expect it. Honestly, I that's another thing. They might expect that. They might just be waiting. It's so crazy. They might be waiting for the day that I call them being on the street again, or just being without a place to live, having to make some kind of quick decision of a place to live. And so. That's another way for me to think about it as and with regards to how I would communicate to my family, because I think it'd be right to, especially my son. I have this son, and of all people, it's him that I would like to understand me. It might be too late for the rest, but I hope it not being too late for him, for us. So that's what I'm looking at today. Had a nice shift this morning, nice bike ride. I'm not sure how much money I made. I didn't look. I didn't Strava the ride. I didn't even take much footage. But this I'm actually gonna have to figure out what of the three kind of channels I have to put this on. Those are a couple of the things. Those are some of the things that I have going on, that I don't know if it turns into something that that can turn into an income. I'll take it. But I tell you what, the way things are looking, it just seems like for the world at large, at least for us, there's the window might have ran out for a lot of the things, for kind of getting oneself a nest egg, or getting things that would be provisional in the time of hardship, like economic collapse or war or something like that. For about a decade, that kind of stuff has been being kind of whispered around, and people have been kind of talking about it and kind of feeling something like that in the air of sorts. And as we get closer to it, it seems like that's something that is a reality. So as far as enough economic or enough circumstantial stability for the world at large, in order to allow for the kind of stuff that would take for flourishing of sorts, and a steady job, a steady place to live, enough income to sustain it, without having to be strapped and stuff, and having a vehicle and those things that make you more. Those are thriving. Those are those are elements of definitely thriving. The bare minimum and stuff that we need as far as like for survival, which, you know, hey, I agree with how, you know, it could be argued that it's good that there has been a look beyond survival into thriving, because that's how we are able to enjoy the communities that we enjoy and the nice things that we have around us. So I'm not talking bad. I'm not talking against that, but definitely there are expiration dates for all those things I've come to learn, and it just might so be that we are alive in a time where you know, we're gonna, anyways, all that stuff. I don't really know for sure, but for me though, it's looks like my time is coming of just having to really, you know, make a decision and stuff. And so there's so much more I can say about it, and I think I will, but later on. But for today, that's what I'm gonna do. So, thanks for listening. That's all I have. Just kind of wanted to take a moment to, you know, break away from the, you know, commuting, writing stuff, and just talk about my situation. So, I am thankful for. I'll tell you what, I'm so thankful for health. Like I said, it's hot today. It's muggy. Had a nice ride. I've been focused on breathing and like cardio health lately, and that's another idea that hopefully could turn into something that might be profitable for myself, or you know, or just, you know, just something to something to meet the need that will obviously be there, and you know, just, you know, anyways, as long as money is what's ruling our lives. So so that's all I have to say. Thanks for listening. If I might go skate later, I don't know. So, and there might be some action videos soon. I haven't posted any of those up in a little bit. Anyways, thanks for watching. Signing off. Bye.